The TrekWorks YouTube channel is sponsored by HDA ModelWorks, suppliers of scale lighting products, detail accessory parts, and complete model kits. Visit HDAModelWorks.com today.
Hello there again, everybody. Boyd back with you, and welcome to part 4 of our Polar Lights 1/1000 scale Discovery Enterprise build. Been working on the model the last day or so here and got it all finished up. Got all the assembly work done, all my seams cleaned up, all my paint touch-ups done, all the lighting worked out really nice on this. And so here's what it looks like. It's looking a little bare still because I'm waiting for the Aztec decals to come in. I'm getting word that maybe that'll only be a couple more weeks. Hopefully that's the case. I'll be chomping at the bit to get those. Hopefully it's not too long. You can see I've got it mounted on the kit supplied Polar Lights base. I talked about at the beginning of the build series how Jerry at HDA ModelWorks is working on a really nice custom base for this with some lighting in it, some really cool graphics and everything. So we'll I think I'm going to come back and just do one video when I get everything done, when I get the base and when I get all the Aztecs and all that stuff. I can't put the registry name or anything on it yet either because that has to go on over top of the Aztecs. Just wanted to show you the basic model. Really pleased with it. It's a great little kit. It's a great size. It's just about exactly 18 inches and it'll fit on your shelf really nice. Just kind of turn it around here for you and show you the details. I did all the seams, cleaned everything up and everything. It's really easy to do the work. Nothing was being stubborn or anything like that. I guess the only complaint I would have, maybe not on everybody's kit, but on mine, I had trouble with the mount up here. It had a lot of play in it when I tried to, and I made sure I glued it together really tight. I used a little bit of epoxy actually on the inside to make sure it was extra strong because it's a really kind of flimsy mount. It's not, very robust. And so I wanted to make sure it was squeezed together all the way good, because when I had it mocked up here, it really had a lot of play in it, and I thought, well, maybe that'll get tighter when I put it together and pay attention to that. But it still had a lot of play in it, and I looked in the hole and you could tell why, because it's not a perfect circle. It's kind of round on the sides, and then at the front and the rear it's just got a square part that's like not up tight against the rod. So it mainly wanted to rock forward and rearward, because it's not completely touching the rod. So what I did is I took some CA glue and I went in there and I dabbed a little bit on those flat parts and made it bigger than it should have been. Then I took my Dremel tool and went in there and kind of cleaned it up until the rod would fit in there really tight, and I worked it out. But that's something you want to pay attention to. It also has a little bit of play down here on the bottom of the base, like the hole's too big for the rod. I'm not going to worry about that because, like I said, we're not going to use this base. And I've seen that every once in a while on the the same problem on the 350 scale TOS. It's just seemed to kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they fit really tight and sometimes they don't. This one didn't, but no worries. Not too much of a hassle to fix it or anything like that. Just something to be aware of. Wanted to show you guys here. This is a question that came up. These are the primary colors that I use to paint the model. The one on the left here is Folk Art Pewter. That's let's see it. I think it was number 99-232, and then this one is Anita's Charcoal Gray Carbon, I think it's called, 29-454. And so the darker color here I just used on the accents for these these engine caps and everything. I want to do that darker color because I think it a little call out again to the original series ship. And then some of the grill work and everything, I use that same color here, but the primary hull color is this color right here, this pewter, and I really like it because it's almost an exact match for the gray plastic that the kit comes molded in, and I think that's going to be really nice for the Aztecs because they probably engineered the decals to work with that gray color, and it's not so bright. It's not a super bright shiny metallic where it's overpowering. And just like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the really bright shiny silver look to this. And then I sprayed it all down once I got it painted with some of my Duplicolor matte satin clear. and that just gives it a really nice kind of, it's not flat and it's not glossy. It's got just a little bit of a sheen to it, like you can see it if you lay it down on the surface there. So it worked out really good. I added a couple little things. Let's talk about the lighting now. A question came up on my Facebook page. If I was to evaluate, did this cost me more doing it this way, or is it cheaper to buy the Polar Lights plug-and-play kit? Well, I would say altogether I spent a little over $100 on using these components. I used these two motors from Tenant Controls. I used the Tenant Controls board to do the blinking lights. And then I used a little bit of a couple of LEDs, some LED strip, and a couple of SMDs here and there. So I would estimate anywhere from $100 to $120 is what I spent on the, lighting it myself. But then you got to figure in the time too. I spent a lot of time, many hours, engineering it, figuring out how it had to work, wiring it, soldering it, modifying some of the parts to make it work. So I would say all in all, it would come out about equal. The price of this, if you count your time with it, versus the I believe the lighting kit is around $170 or $180. So that comes out about the same to me. So but if you're just a casual modeler and you want this to look nice, I would recommend just getting the plug and play kit. You could build this entire model with the lighting over a weekend if you do that. You really could. It goes together that nice. And everything for that is designed to fit right in the model. You don't have to do any kind of modifications. But I wanted to add a few extra things, and I think that's the nice thing about this hobby, is that you can kind of pick your own path, if which way you want to go. And the model was engineered so you could go either way. Let's go ahead and power up the lights here, and I'll turn off the overhead lights so you guys can get a good look at it. Look at it from the front first. There's our saucer and everything. Now, as I mentioned, doing the aftermarket way like I did with the Tenant Controls, you get a little bit of extra features that the plug-and-play kit doesn't have. You get the blinking lights here. I was able to, I think the motors on the Polar Lights kit are spinning too fast. As I was talking about, they should spin slow enough where you can see the detail of the spokes in the nacelles there. And they're spinning too fast on the Polar Lights kit. So that's two things that we added. We changed the motor speed. We added the blinking lights here, and then I've also got some blinking lights here at the back. I did that as kind of a tribute to the original series ship. They're in the same spot. So that's all we really added as far as animation or anything. But I just think those little extra things make it really nice. You can see we got our grills all lit up here. The little slots are lighted up in blue, same as the grills. We got our lights there at the stern for the docking bay. We got our impulse engines there. Back here at the rear, I'm really happy with how these turned out. As I talked about, I used a little drill bit to individually, clear off the paint on each one of those little round details there, and it looks really clean that way. If you have a little drill bit, I recommend doing it that way versus using a hobby knife to scrape it off there, because like I said, you're not going to be able to control that hobby knife as precise, and these make, drill bit will make a nice round circle for you. Put a little fiber optic here up on top that you can see for the above the shuttle bay, just a constant on. Another little thing that I want to do, kind of similar to the original Enterprise. Let's get you a look on the bottom of the saucer here. You can see we got our little photon torpedo tubes lit up. Lighting's coming through really nice all the way through the model. A couple of light leaks I had were around the deflector dish, around these little square parts, just a little slit of light right there. I had a couple little light leaks around the shuttle bay doors, and I think that's about it. I really can't say there were a huge amount of light leaks on the model. Everything, especially around the engines and everything. I did have a few back here. These were real stubborn to light block. It took several coats of paint, and like I said, I finally solved the problem by going ahead and painting them on the inside with some black and staying away from the flat part here where that detail is. So that's just a little heads up for you. So that's how she's looking, everybody. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to close out here with a shot of this in some low light. But before I do that, I just want to show you guys really quick what our next project's going to be here on the channel. I've got this kit right here. This is the Polar Lights Robbie the Robot kit. This is the nice kit that's actually getting hard to find, that doesn't come with Altera. I didn't like that kit because, he's carrying her or whatever, and it blocks off a lot of the detail you can see in the front. This one also comes with a really nice little kind of a sand or desert looking mound of dirt or rocks or whatever, a base that he sits on. So this is what I'm going to build up next on the channel, guys. Some more sci-fi for you. I'm going to be doing some lighting and everything on it. I've got the Paragraphics photo etch set for it, so this should turn out really cool. I've been wanting to build this model for quite a while. But let me come back one more time, guys, with a look at the model in some low light where I'm not talking, and we'll call this a wrap. I'll be back whenever I get the Aztec decals and the base from Jerry, and we'll finish this up. This is a really cool little model. I hope you guys get one for yourself. It's an excellent little kit.